Hey, welcome back to the channel. All right, it's time to move on to the tech class for my server rank down. I will also give my own personal rankings afterwards, but I've asked my Discord server, people who've earned roles of respect and have got those unique roles, they got to even add on champions, but everyone on my server was able to vote. We've done skill. If you haven't checked that out, make sure you do. We're on to tech, and we will do all of them, plus some other cool top 10s as we move our way through December. There's a lot to it. There was a lot to it. We're gonna have some fun with this, giving them a talk. I want to first mention the honorable mentions that we either brought up or even I listed them and they just did not make it in the rankings, in the voting. Honorable mentions here, we've got Rocket Raccoon. I think, you know, his buff is so new. I think that might be part of it. I'm curious to see if he rises when we do this in 2023. Doc Ock, that was a tough one. That was a tough one. You're gonna talk about him a little bit later. You'll see that. War Machine, Silver Centurion, who I love Silver Centurion. Yondu, Punisher 99. I know, O's fan, I know. I thought he was going to sneak into the top 10, but he was actually just barely beaten out by someone else. You'll see that. But he's obviously great. He deserves to be there. O's fan and Punisher 99. Hulkbuster, server not showing the respect to Hulkbuster that Hulkbuster deserves, in my opinion. The Visions, they were grouped together, but they are both great. They are different, but they're both great. Shuri, Cap Sam, and Stark Spidey. Cool to see Starky up there after all these years. All right, let's go ahead and move into the actual top 10. Like I said, I'm going to count down my servers rankings, how they did. They're very smart. They're very, very smart. I love hanging out on there. I learn a lot from them. And I will also give my own personal, because I know a lot of you are like, dude, I want to know what you think. Okay, starting off at number 10, who beat Punisher 99 by literally only 5 votes. It was shockingly close. I believe that was brought up by Nat, so there you go, Nat. Gilly 99, you know, Gilly 99 came into the game, I think, with so much hype and excitement. I don't remember if we knew Abyss was coming or if Abyss was soon thereafter came out. I don't remember which happened, but I know that there was a lot of thought that she was just going to be amazing for Abyss, and then we quickly got there and we're like, she's not that great for Abyss. And I think that's ultimately the issue with her, right? Is like, what's the content that she's there for? She's a really well-made champion. I get why it's hard to carry over with her. You know, the immunities are nice. She can do really nice things. She's in the top 10. That's really, really good. But she's not in my top 10. Not in my top 10. I would have her as an honorable mention, and even that, I think there's a lot of other champions in there that if I'm just giving like the best, or you're going to use them in Battlegrounds, in Questing, in War, in Alliance Quest, in Everest content, what have you, all these various things, Eternity of Pain, honestly, Gilly 99 is almost rarely going to be there. I know MSD does some really cool stuff with his 2-star, but you know, that's is what it is. And so for me, it's actually Doc Ock. He is extremely unique in the tech class, can do phenomenal things, handling that ability power rate, can just absolutely shut down champions. It feels like every once in a while, like every 3 or 4 months, so someone comes out, some YouTuber or someone comes out with like this really cool Doc Ock video. And this even goes way back. Like Seaton made a video on him. I think it was Kabam John. They had met at some sort of conference or something like that. And Seaton and John taught, and John was like, hey, look, you can play him this way. It's very aggressive. You can really lock these opponents down. Steel 22, and then of course Iron Patriot, the YouTuber, the legendary player, the mythic level player, do really, really cool stuff with Doc Ock, as well as J-Nick. So I like Doc Ock. I've never gotten into him because he does have a unique play style. It's something that just doesn't resonate perfectly with me, but Doc Ock is phenomenal. All right, I realized I didn't show it, so we're gonna go ahead and show people real quick. We talked about Gilly 2099. I know a lot of you like to see it. All right. Moving on to number 9, based on the server rankings, we actually have Nebula. This is a relatively recent buff. The buff they did was phenomenal for her. It really helped out with a lot of the things that people found problematic to begin with. Plus, she had the addition of, just the addition of 3 immunities, but an additional 1, giving her 3 of them. She does phenomenal shock damage. And then as you see here with the signature ability, while the opponent is suffering from at least 1 shock debuff, Nebula gains that additional combat power rate. My Nebula is actually extremely high sig level. I did really like that. I feel like that helps her. It increases where you can use her. She can shut down robots as well. The phenomenal damage off that SB2. You can now even work in the SB3, going with that loop. Campo did some great stuff showing off the SP1. I think she's a really good champion. I think she's great where she shines, right? But I feel like she moves more to niche. So she's not someone I would be highly recommending accounts rank up early in their tech journey, right? As you're going, right now, it'd be like rank 4s or something like that. I think she's more someone who you're like, okay, I'm having this issue, or I really enjoy playing her. I went on to shut down robots for some reason with tech champions, that sort of thing. She's going to get that job done for you. She's really, really good for it. My own personal number 9, though, is Hulkbuster. He is awesome. He is great. And I love that we're seeing him do so well in some battlegrounds of phenomenal damage. We're seeing him using Eternity of Pain. I think he's just not a great war champion for whatever reason, the way he's worked out. But for those of you who play him, you know he can do immense damage, and not just in the event quests that we get that really accentuates his damage, right? Those shocks. When he came out, I think we were all so excited about locking the opponent in the corner, but then he has that short heavy, and then sometimes he just whiffs too. It's an odd animation. So I think that created a big disappointment, but he's almost like a bit of like a post-type sleeper, let's call him. I think he's phenomenal. I love playing him. Bryce has him at rank 4. All the Hulkbuster fans out there, let me know. Put in the comments. Be like, yes, Hulkbuster respect. Finally here. I think he's definitely deserving of being in the top 10. Okay, with number 9 in the server rankings, we actually had a huge jump in the tier. The voting with Nebula, Doc Ock, Gilly 2099, Punisher 99, they were all actually grouped up quite a bit, and they were a significant chunk different than Penny. Penny's the first one in this next tier, and it does make sense to me too, if I really think about it, although I'd probably push Hulkbuster a little closer to this tier, and I'd put him in this tier, but that's fine, that's fine. Penny's phenomenal, right? She has really unique immunity sources. Anytime you get those unique ones, you never know, because like a hazard shift node might be coming, or it just increases the amount of champions you're going to be able to take, or unique places you're going to put her. I actually like her heal block. I have mine at Sig 200. I really love her. I like using her in battlegrounds. I actually kind of like using her offensively too. Again, like I can even use her for Immortal Abomination. Also, once you get her to appropriate rank, she's not like Corvus. I'm not saying she's the same as Corvus. What I'm saying is I feel like they're similar champions in that if you have them slightly lower ranked than where the meta's kind of going, they're going to feel a little underwhelming. But once you get them to that appropriate rank, wow, they can do phenomenal things, and they can end fights very, very fast. That's her. And she also has that really nice synergy now with Infamous Iron Man, where if the opponent is immune to Incinerate, I think she now places a shock. But either way, that was kind of one of my biggest complaints about her, was that like, well, she's great, she's phenomenal, I enjoy using her, I like the tankiness, I like the auto block, she can get me out of trouble. The power drain is even kind of nice sometimes too, but if the opponent is immune to Incinerate, she really can't do anything about it. So I really wasn't a fan of that. I really like that synergy for her. And then I'm going to actually agree and agreeing with the server quite a bit here. Number 8, I also had Penny Parker. Okay, number 7 is an extremely new addition to the rankings and to the MCoC. I'm curious. He's one where I could see him being significantly higher when we do this in 6 months. I'm planning to do this twice a year for a couple of reasons. One is I think right now it's like, oh, if you're going up against Bishop, he's great. And Bishop's such a problem that this feels good, right? So he's already phenomenal. The prestige is really good. He is powerful. The SP2 can do significant damage. There is a loop with the SP3. It takes a little longer. And I think right now, we just haven't had a place to do that, right? In Battlegrounds, so often you're not wanting to go to your SP3 because it takes a little bit longer. In a war, he's getting the fights he's being sent to. He gets done in that first SP2, so you're not going to the SP3. There doesn't seem to be something where he's really needed in an Alliance quest. But I think, I gotta say this, right? There's a little bit of me prognosticating. I enjoy doing this. I don't think Kabam makes Infamous Iron Man, makes him the new prestige champion in the game, and then also makes him this well. If you have him, if you've played him, you know what I mean. He's exceptionally well made. The abilities are just there when you need it. He has a very fluid loop. You don't have to go to the SP3. You can go to the SP2. He has that nice synergy with Penny. It's very similar to hers in that if the opponent is immune to his damage source, he switches up damage sources. I think you don't do all of that and then not give him stuff to do. I think we're going to see a lot of things for him to do, whether it be nodes, defenders, attackers that he's good for. roles like this, I think Infamous Iron Man, I feel very comfortable and confident saying that I think in 6 months, he's going to be higher up this ranking. And then again, like I said, I'm going to be agreeing with the server quite a bit. He's also my current number 7 tech champion as far as the best overall tech champions in the game. Okay, number 6 is another buff champion. Tech was behind. And so I think it makes sense that these buffs came out. They were very strong and immediately elevated quite a few of these champions. We've got Ultron. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just make this because I didn't put any format on the server. I want them just to do it because I think that's the best example of like, how are people playing the game? What do they value? And I'm going to put this contingency though for folks watching it. You want them at the high SIG. That SIG is really very nice. Look at that. The attacks that deal energy damage cause Ultron to regenerate 20 to almost 70, 65, 66% of the damage dealt to him. That's really nice. It's really annoying on defense if for some reason you're attacking him with an energy damage dealer, and then also those incoming incinerate and shock effects suffer a very, very, very significant duration shortage. That's great. Now, he's not someone that I would tell you, yeah, immediately make him your first SIG 200 champion. But if those SIG stones are lying around or you start to happen to pull him a lot, I think you're getting a really nice benefit, somewhere you're going to use him more or he's going to help you survive through fights. Plus, with his healing, if you play him a certain way, you're able to get from pretty low health to very high in single fights or over the course of a quest. I also used to say, this is before Nimrod came out, that when if there was a blind map like there used to be in Alliance War, for those who haven't been playing that long, Alliance War used to be blind. You didn't know. You could just see the class that you were taking. And I used to say that if I had to blindly fight any mutant in the game and I had to use a tech champion, I wanted it to be Ultron. I think he's that good. I really do like him quite a bit, and I'm happy to see my server ranking him as high as he is. Now, just to kind of show how much I like him, and this is going to be a little surprising, I think, to some people who've been following my channel for a long time, I actually have Guardian at high SIG, as my number 6 best tech champion in the game. Let's go ahead and move over to number 5. Okay, this is wild for me because I was early on Guardian. I was bad at YouTube, but I was early on Guardian. I loved him. I pulled him early and I made all the videos I could possibly do. I was just really bad at YouTube. You know, we all start somewhere, right? He's phenomenal. The whole non-critting, it's a really nice tech feature, but I do like that, right? He does significant damage. As my buddy Work used to always say, you don't have to have him even awaken, and he's phenomenal. It is all true, but I think if we're going to put him at 5 here as the best champions in the tech class, you want him awakened, you want him at that SIG 200. Look at that energy resistance. I love it. As many of you have pointed out, the bleed resistance does make him pretty recoil friendly, especially because if you have him at that appropriate rank, right? If you've got that rank 4, you're using him in Battlegrounds or Alliance War or wherever, he often is going to end that fight in that SP1 and then that SP2, so you're not throwing a ton of specials. He's got the safety nets, the critical damage resistance, that block proficiency, the synergy he adds to the rest of your team. I love Guardian. I love him. I've loved him since the day he came into the game. Well, since the day I pulled him, actually. He's phenomenal. So it almost hurts me a little bit. But I really like Ultron too. I actually have Ultron as my 5th rated champion, but I really think Ultron and Guardian are like their own little tier. Number 4. I mean, my server is very, very smart. They've got a Mega Sentinel. The hate on this champion has gone grossly too far. I have many times thought, I'm going to make a video that the hate has gone too far on her, but I've already made so many videos on her. Yes, it would be really nice if her debuffs were a little easier to refresh or pause and keep up. Yes, it would. It really would be great. It'd be great if Ghost was armor break immune, but she's not. This is the Omega Sentinel we have. I do think that her timer isn't working. MP Blaze has pointed out many times. I hope Kabam does fix it if that is the case, because it would be nice. She'd be even better than she currently is, and I don't think she'd be game breaking. But she handles miss, and miss is coming into the game more and more. She's phenomenal against mutants, but she's good outside of them. She's got a heal block, which is great. She's not tanky in that if she doesn't have her armor ups, she's got a very low health pool. She's going to go down fast, right? Those of us who've learned how to fight her in Battlegrounds, you know, we've kind of learned how to get down and you get through those armors, or she never gets them anyway. You can beat her down. But when you're playing her offensively, She's got the auto block, and you can get all those armors up. I love her. If you've been watching my videos, you know, probably like once or twice a war season, I do a video with her. She's great. She's phenomenal. She's got that the heal block too, as well as the tracking. She handles Kitty Prides phenomenally, which I love, right? I love that she can do that. So I'm pumped up, and I agree with my server. The number 4 tech champion is Omega Sentinel. Not be surprised if she continues to move up this ranking, or at least is in this 3 to 5 spot when we do this again in 6 months. Okay, moving into the number 3 spot, we have Warlock. Feels like he's been in the game a very long. Yeah, I see that 2019, late 2019. So it's not been that long, but somehow it feels like the game has progressed. The relationship between mutants and tech has progressed. There's a lot now dealing with prowess and that sort of thing. And so I think as a result, Warlock feels older than he actually is. It feels almost like a relic. Ultron and Nebula, I think, are more exciting, right? Warlock's not about damage. He never has been, but his damage has always been adequate. You run the recoil tree if you really want to boost that up, or power back boosts in war. We said a lot too. They've changed the wording, I believe, or it doesn't say he's a heal block now. It says that they cannot gain power. I don't think we've seen any material places where that's really come in and hurt him. He's still phenomenal. He is still phenomenal. And if you pulled him early, you know, he's got, I think, 4 immunities right there with cold snap and frostbite or something like that. Obviously with the bleed and the poison too. Being able, it's not technically a heal block, but making sure opponents cannot gain power. Then in PvP modes, the power drain, the things that come off of that. He really is phenomenal. He's holding up exceptionally well. I could see him falling in these rankings over the course of the next 12 months, not because he's not good anymore, but because new design spaces, new challenges have been thrown at us that require us to have champions that deal with prowess, or maybe have an active or passive technical heal block. We'll see. I'm not making that a strong prediction. I'm just saying it wouldn't shock me if in the next 6 to 12 months we see him at 5, 6, something like that. But even in his current form, as old as he is in this game, there was a large jump. He's almost in his own second tier behind 1 and 2, but he is clearly, voting-wise, ahead of Ultron and Omega Sentinel and Guardian. And I also have him as my number 3 champion of the tech class in 2022. I know. I am as surprised maybe as you are, although maybe you're not. I'm going to guess about half of you are surprised. Ghost came in at number 2, and I'm going to just tell you the truth. I think this is a sign of Kabam doing a really good job. This is a exceptionally powerful champion. Some would confidently use the term overpowered or overtuned. She can get by so much, and people who've put in a ton of time playing her have even learned how to handle a variety of nodes and tactics and tricks the Kabam is thrown to try to slow her down. People, even like with Battlegrounds, have gotten to the point where they don't even need her synergies with Wasp, and they just know how to play her. I mean, we saw that in some war where people were like, okay, I can't fit Wasp onto my team, even though Wasp isn't actually that bad a champion. But they couldn't fit her onto the team, and they were able to get those the specials off with the phase. The phasing mechanic and the way she gets rid of the debuffs, it's almost unparalleled. I can't think of anyone else like that off the top of my head in the game. And then she handles obviously evade as well. And then the fact that she gains power. You so often hear me talk about why the Mystic class I think is so powerful in general, and why I think they must be very hard to design, is because they're almost always dealing with power, and power comes into play in every single matchup in this game, which is very unique, right? Like if you don't get power, it's still involved in that you couldn't get power gain, power steal, power burn. You obviously get the point. It's not like bleeds or something like that that's coming off of the skill class. So the fact that she can gain and generate power when she's being missed, which is playing into her flow anyways, the way you use her abilities, I mean, she's great. She's amazing. She shows no signs of slowing down. You can see 2018, so it's been a bit for her, but she shows no signs of slowing down. I think the only reason she's number 2 is because of, like I talked about, this evolving relationship between mutant and tech. It's very similar to the evolving relationship that we have right now between mystics and cosmics, but in this case, it's tech and mutant. prowess, removal of prowess, those sorts of things are clearly coming into play. Power, it's very, very powerful. Dealing with healing, heal blocks, heal removals, those sort of things. And she doesn't do any of that. The thing is, her damage is so incredible, and she deals with power manipulation in a way, right, with the way she gains it, and she can do so few hits. She almost feels timeless. There probably will be a time where she's not relevant in MCoC, but that time is definitely not right now. Now, the number one champion, according to my server, and I should say, these votes were outrageously close. In fact, they had the same number of first place votes. But the number one champion, according to my server, is Nimrod. Now, if you want my thoughts on it, I have them tied. I have them absolutely tied. If you came to one of my streams and said, who should I rank up? I'd probably tell you, who do you enjoy using? Or if you're good with Ghost, then maybe go Ghost. If you're not that good with her, if you don't enjoy her, then go Nimrod. Especially if you waken him and you get his sig up. He's phenomenal. I think he's in some ways maybe as overpowered as Ghost is. It's just is not as mind-blowing, or it's not as crazy. Like, for those who haven't been playing since Ghost is in the game, I mean, I was killing bosses with her back when she first came to the game, and I was terrible. But I could throw in my power back boost. I learned how to kind of time Morningstar. Morningstar was a very popular Alliance War boss at the time. I learned how to kind of time the miss mechanic. I barely even knew what I was doing. But with power back boost, I was eradicating, didn't mean to do that, these Morningstar bosses. And so I think it's just the evolving relationship with Nimrod, because Nimrod, I think, was very clear. I pulled him early. I was very early on this thing. I put out 4 videos. First one was called I Love Nimrod. I'm barely starting to understand him, but I can tell he's great. And then I just did a series of videos showing you, like, I was calling him the Tech Human Torch, and I actually really believe that. And I think a lot of folks have caught on or agree now that it wasn't just mutants. And I think that's what he was supposed to do. But then you add on how many times there's healing in this game, or prowess from nodes and things like that, and he just dominates it. Now he's a troublesome defender in Battlegrounds, which I think a lot of folks thought he was going to be originally. Hercules kind of handled that for us. Now we've got Gallon and Hulkling, but he's still a problem. There's only 3 champions in this game. And then you add on all of his offensive use. I'm copping out. I'm going to cop out. I actually have them as a tie. If you came in and asked me, I would go with who do you enjoy more? Maybe what modes are you playing? But they're both good, and both. Nimrod has more defensive capability, so maybe lean his direction. But they are an absolute tie. I will say this. The direction that Mutant and Tech seems to be going, I think in 6 months it won't be a tie. I think that Nimrod will have taken the lead. He'll have solidified it. And in 12 months, I think for sure that will have happened. Maybe there'll be some new Tech champions or Mutant champions who will evolve that relationship even further, or in some directions I'm not currently seeing. But that's my prediction. I really like it. Let me know what we got right. Let me know what we got wrong. Remember the champion you're supposed to write in the comment section. And I'm enjoying the heck out of this. We will definitely catch you in the next one. It's already up on my Discord server. They've been ranking. They've been voting. We'll make sure we get that video out very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.
I hope you either learned something, were entertained, or even better, a little bit of both. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.
See